Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the virtual Irwindale Speedway tonight in Irwindale, California. How about some all-star racing with the Sim Auto Racing Association back live on LSRTV tonight for the SARA Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational presented by Callaway Investments and the Posse. 45 minutes of timed short track racing, and we have 8 teams of 4 drivers, each team 4 different cars out on track, and they're all out on track at the same time. If you were with us for this event just 1 year ago, you know that this one's going to be an exciting one, and we welcome you in if you were with us that time as well. If not, welcome for your first time, because there's nothing quite like the SARA Clash for Cash here on the iRacing service, and we get set to get the 2015 portion of that kicked off. We do welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast booth alongside of myself, Evan Pizzoco, Andy Kessler, and our executive producer is Laura Lawson. Andy, right now these drivers into the final 15 minutes of qualifying, one car at a time, as race officials allow them to get out on the racetrack in order of class. So right now the super late models going out for qualifying. You'll see the qualifying results scroll across the top of your screen, and you'll also see the countdown clock get closer and closer to 0. Once it does so, it's a 45-minute time lap, no yellows, and every man for himself. Very difficult to get team strategy going, and it's going to be quite the interesting race to follow. You'll see the teams listed up on the ticker as well, alongside the driver's last name. The T and then the number is going to represent which team they're driving for. A whole lot to talk about. We got some time before we drop the green flag, but really the first thing we need to get out of the way is that this is going to be a damn exciting race.
Yeah, this is either going to be a recipe for some excitement or some disaster, but this is, I can't wait. These 4 cars, in theory, shouldn't be on the track at the same time, but this is going to be awesome to watch. I can't wait.
Tonight's Clash for Cash is presented by Callaway Investments, providing more than 80 rental homes as well as vacation homes in Panama, Florida, and as well the Posse, one of iRacing's top short track teams, with many of their drivers competing full-time in SARA. If you have been with us for the last couple of months here on LSRTV, we brought you the SARA RB Performance Super Late Model Series Triple Crown, and that championship concluding just 1 week ago. If you want to find out more information on SARA, you can go to their website at www.simautoracerassociation.com, as well on Facebook at facebook.com/simautoracerassociation. Tonight's race practice, again, already in the books. These drivers right now going through time trials and then qualified before we hit the grid at 10 o'clock Eastern time. 45 minutes time. Let's talk about the specifics about our event format here tonight. All 4 divisions will be on track at the same time, and they're competing against everybody. 32 total drivers have been invited. These drivers are split up and again into 8 teams of 4 drivers. Each team, Andy, consisting of a super late model driver, a pro late model driver, as well as an SK and a street stock driver.
Yeah, and the best part about this is nobody even knew what team they were going to be on, who their teammates were going to be before this race. So a lot of these guys, maybe not typically your teammates during the regular season, but here tonight, they got to do something together that they maybe not have done previously. So this is a little bit of, I don't know if you could really get too much strategy involved in this, Evan, as far as you want to be your first car in your division to be across that start-finish line, because that's what it's all about here, is getting those top finishes.
And for those that followed along with the RB Performance Super Late Model Series Triple Crown Championship, we're going by the golf-style points, I like to call it. So you win this race if you win your division. That's how the points are going to be calculated, and we really won't know who's going to win this thing, assuming all the chaos. I mean, you take a look at the qualifying right now, you got a driver from Team 1, then 3, 2, 8, 4, 7, 4, 8, 5. So it's all over the place. Going to take a while, though, post-race to calculate who wins this, because points are based by division. So if you win your division, and again, that's not team. So if a driver from Team 4 comes out first in the Super Late Model division, he gets 1 point. If the driver from Team 5 comes second, he gets 2. It's going to be the same thing per division of car. So not only are you racing against the guys in your own division, it's going to be interesting, Andy, because those faster race cars going to very quickly catch the lap traffic, and once they do so, that's going to continue all night long. And this is interesting as well, because at a track like Irwindale, it keeps these guys nice and close. A lot of the time we talk about lap traffic. They're single filed out. You might have a side-by-side fight to try to stand the lead lap. Here, you're going to keep going around and around in these super late models, catching guys in the street stocks who are significantly slower, but they're all in a pack. That's what makes this one so extremely exciting to take a look at. There's so much going to be going on tonight, but again, you want to have your 4 drivers finished as high as they can in their respective class, get the least amount of points. That's how you can go on to win this race. There is a twist, though. Each driver must pit at 1 point in this race for a 4-tire pit stop. But again, because there are no cautions, that could happen at any point. These drivers are given 2 fast resets, so although it's not quite the Irwindale figure 8, some of these cars might look like it was at the end of the night.
Oh, you're not kidding, Evan. When you get these fast cars coming up on the slow cars, you're not sure exactly what line they're going to take. And like you said, the congestion is just going to be immense here on the track tonight because of all the different speeds and because of the slower cars, the big, bulkier late models and those street stocks that are lumbering out here on the track. And then you got the guys, of course, in the modifieds that are trying to wheel this thing around here very fast. So it's just I don't even know what to say. This is going to be awesome to watch.
David Krikorian, currently the driver out on the racetrack, putting in his qualifying lap. You see all the other drivers sitting on the pit lane and waiting to get out. Those that have not yet completed a time so far, it looks like 28 to 31 cars have put down a time. So this qualifier session getting close to get wrapped up here tonight at Irwindale Speedway. Talk about some weather that we're going to be dealing with tonight. You see it's a very dark scene here at the Irwindale Speedway. Just 65 degrees Fahrenheit, the atmosphere, 10% humidity, there's no wind, and there's overcast skies. What that's going to mean is, although it's not a big racetrack like an intermediate track, so the effect is not going to be as great, it is still a major factor because of those cool temperatures. The weather should provide us with some added grip to the inside grooves to make it more stable for cars to be able to make passes on the bottom of the racetrack. The weather also seems to have made these super late models just as fast, if not faster, than the SK modifieds as well. At least on the short runs, if you were with us 1 week ago, the SK is significantly quicker, and you take a look at qualifying right now, the top 2 times super late models, first SK modified is actually 3rd in the standings right now. That's going to be Ron Hagelin leading the SKs in qualifying, but 3rd overall. So they are requesting, Andy, the slower cars to go up to the outside of the racetrack. Now, it's a request. It says, quote, they will be asked to hold their line in the upper groove. Again, they're not all going to be single file all night long, and that makes things exciting because at Irwindale, forget about the extra classes. You guys, you just have guys out here in a late model in a regular race, 50 laps, 100 laps, whatever you want it to be. There's cars up on the top. There's cars down on the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see how that could also play into a factor here when you guys trying to find the quickest way around the racetrack, because not everybody drives the race car the same. So you're going to have these guys searching for grip and searching for a spot to get through. I can guarantee you that somebody is not going to lead this entire race. Last time we saw this overall win, I guess, was determined in the last 5 minutes after a handful of back-to-back wrecks. So although this is 45 minutes, probably not going to be in the books until 45 minutes has been completed, because with 4 classes, it is just extremely unpredictable, and we can't stress it enough. That is the main part of this. You take a look at SARA. They run 4 different divisions. They don't want to have an all-star race for the RB Performance Super Late Models, and then another one for the Emerald Designs Pro Late Models, a separate one for the NAO Racing News SK Mods, and a separate for the Sportsman Street Stocks. All 4 of them out on track at once, and there's as well some cool things up for grabs for these guys. So a lot on the line, but for the most part, it's fun for the drivers and as well going to be very entertaining for us.
It's going to be fun for us, entertaining, and for all the viewers out there too. I mean, I can't stress enough, Evan, when you're talking about these cars, and you're going to see them come out right now to look like they're going to do a four wide salute here for everybody. But you're talking about guys in the late models that are going to be racing, battling side by side. And then at the same time, you're going to have SKs or super late models coming up on them quick, and those guys are going to be battling. So you really have 4 races within one race, and for guys to succeed the bottom to the faster guys, they're going to be concentrating on the guys that are around them, that they're actually battling for that win for that division. So it's going to be quite interesting to see exactly what happens with the lap traffic.
And a thing that you pointed on earlier is that these guys did not come into this race knowing what team they're going to be on. It's not like you can take a team like the Posse, who is one of the presenting sponsors for tonight's race, or, you know, guys like the Wheelin' and Dealin' Motorsports guys who have been so strong in these Super Late models throughout the regular RB Performance Super Late Model Series season. They can't get all together and dominate this race because once they loaded into the sim, that was the first time they found out who's on their team. With no cautions, Andy, typically you cause a caution, you get a penalty. There's no cautions, which means that that's not going to give you a penalty. So a lot of these guys may not be happy with each other after their championships maybe didn't end the way they would have liked just 1 week ago. Who knows? You might even be mad at a guy that's on your team for this race.
Well, you could be. Listen, no cautions means you're talking no penalties. Well, I'm sorry, you get an accident, that is your penalty, because now you're going to have to sit in pit road. Hopefully you don't have to get towed. If you don't get towed, you can at least get back to pit road. You talked about a couple fast repairs. They can get back out there. Granted, that's still time lost because technically they only have to make one pit stop for this race. So the more time you spend on pit road, obviously your chances of winning your division are down. But at the same time, like you said, we're not going to know till that last minute is done because anything could happen to any one of these guys at any given point. And what that's going to do is, hey, if you end up having a tow in the last 3 minutes, you could be the winning, but 3 laps ahead, and next thing you know, you got a guy that's coming up on you, and he's making up ground because you're on pit road.
And as these guys get lined up and prepare for that 4 wide salute before the drop of a green flag here tonight in the SARA Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational presented by Callaway Investments and the Posse. Talk a little bit about the series that you do see on track here tonight. They'll line up front to back. Looks like the Super Lates taking the lead, followed by the SKs, the Street Stocks, and maybe as well the late model is going to be at the second group of cars there on track just behind the Super Lates. All of the series that run within SARA open setups, which means that it is extremely competitive, and that team aspect is a big part of regular season racing. Team advantages, that's gone tonight. The RB Performance Super Late Model Series run on Thursday night. You saw a lot of that season on LSRTV. There's SARA's premier division, and the division averaged a 28 car field per race over the course of their 12-rig championship. Cody Kelly went back-to-back. You saw that just 1 week ago here on LSRTV for his second straight Super Late Model Championship and his 4th career SARA title, ending with 3 trips to victory lane and 2 poles. We'll continue to talk about the drivers you see on track here tonight. We'll continue to talk about the drivers as well in the series, all kinds of information to get to you. Again, SimAutoRacingAssociation.com. Be a part of this at the end of 2016, but the field has now rolled from their stationary position. They're going to get things all coordinated up, and how about a 4-wide salute? That's going to be, I think, 8 rows deep in 4 different kinds of race cars.
That looks like a formation you'd see of some fighter jets if you look at overhead from the blimp view. So, yeah, no, this is quite amazing that these guys try to get tightened up and run the same speed. And for some guys, you know, that speed running too wide is a tough thing. So this is quite fun to see right here. You guys doing a great job. It looks nice.
And it may be a little bit of a stretch, but I wouldn't be surprised if the race kind of looks like that. Things are going to be quite exciting. Yeah, this one, we come to an end now as the qualifying session strikes less than 30 seconds. And a lot of these guys, they're hoping this is the only wrecking they have tonight. They're going to get that out of their system and hopefully have a very strong run in this All-Star Invitational as they'll drop down to the pit lane and get set. 45 minutes around this Irwindale Speedway. We are running the outer loop, the inner loop obviously being used as our pit lane tonight. So you got a half-mile racetrack, 45-minute timed race, and lap times sub 20 seconds, I guess, for all 4 divisions, at least at practice and qualifying pace. You know, Andy, any final words before we throw into this one and get this race underway?
Nah, the only thing I got to say is I hope everyone's brought a notebook and can figure out who's who and what's what, and this is going to be fun to watch, and maybe a bit confusing. I'll be the first to say it'll probably be me first. So anyway, I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
As we get set to get this race underway, we go down trackside for the opening ceremonies and the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Back live at Irwindale, these drivers getting their final laps. I'm hesitant to call it practice, but they're getting their final laps in. Some of them on the pit lane preparing for what could very well be a demo derby at the end of this race. The 35-minute single car, one-at-a-time qualifier session is in the books. The 4-wide salute gone. Now all that's left is to crown a all-star race winning team. The field get a hit up on the front straight away for the start of this race. And we'll try to let you know where the majority of these drivers are going to start with the LSRTV starting grid. Front row going to be 2 super late models. Team 6's David Krikorian will start from pole. Justin Brooks representing Team 7 going to start in second. Ron Hagelin in the SK modified for Team 6 starting third. It is 2 more super lates in fourth and fifth for Team 3, Joe Schaefer Jr. and James Linkowitz for Team 1, rounding out your top 5.
Rolling off 6 in an SK modified would be Ryan Borges. To his outside, also in an SK modified in the number 13 is Michael German. Matt Rolfe in the 51 SK. He's going to roll off 8th. 9th is Wade Tashada in the number 12 super late model. And rounding out the top 10 is Derek Robinson in the number 8 super late model.
Going to be the SK modified of Travis Warling for Team 4 in 11th. 12th position, Team 7's Mark Welch as well. And an SK Paul Fugate super late model for Team 4. Going to start from 13th. Behind him at SK for Team 8, that's Michael Baxter in 14th. And 15th position, the super late model of Russell Berry for Team 5.
The final SK of team number 5 in the 87, that's Patrick Hay. He's going to roll off 16th. 17th will be the first of the late models. He's Bill Martin in the number 39. David Randu, he's going to start 18th in the number 70. Ty Spearman in the 92 is going to start 19th. And 20th in the number 1 is Wendell Stratton.
All 8 of those late models all still together on the grid, 21st through 24 still late models. It's going to be 21st position for Team 3's Matt Eddy. For Team 7, Cody Leland will start from 22nd. 23rd for Mark Gamick for Team 1, and Brandon Wilkinson in 24th for Team 6. Rounding out your top 5, the highest running straight stock, that's Tim Bills for Team 8.
Todd Sipe, he's going to be in the number 25. He's going to start 26th. Daryl Hamlin for Team 7 in the 36. He's going to roll off 27th. 28th will be Ian Lane in the 98. The 24 of Steven Shore for Team 3. He's going to be 29th. 30th will be Mike Whited in the 58. And the 38 of Clay Snyder is going to be rounding out the field in the 31st position for team number 4.
And it looks like Team 5 is missing their street stock driver, so that's going to mean that that's going to be 8 points for team number 5. That looks like that's Dale Owen, who is not here. That's really going to hurt Team 5's hopes for trying to get home this championship in this All-Star Invitational. Enough talking, let's get the show on the road, though. The pace car down and away. Get ready for this one. It is going to be David Krikorian in control of the field. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV. Through quarter 4, green flag flies, and underway we go. Krikorian across the start-finish line gets this SARA Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational presented by Callaway Investments and Posse underway. Out of the battle for the race lead, but that's just half the story. Everybody trying to find some room down the back.
Yeah, look at Justin Brooks way down to the bottom on the apron, trying to get some momentum going down there, able to stay alongside David Krikorian. Right now, you got some modifieds just behind. We got, trouble a little ways back. It looks like they're able to keep it straight right there. Looked like the number 8 car of Derek Robinson. He went for a little bit of a ride there in turns 1 and 2, but everybody able to keep it straight. But some of these modified guys trying to get around them here on the front stretch.
These modified guys starting to mix it up with those late models. How about 3 wide? Look at the 12 car of Wade Tashida. In the middle of all of this, he's got an SK fighting with the late model in front of him, and the same scenario behind him, trying to find a way through. It looks like the SKs, though, tending to go up to the outside of the racetrack. That's where they want to be, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like the high side's probably the most comfortable part for them. You see the guys in the super late models, the number 12 there of Wade Tashida. He's trying to make that bottom line go, and actually that's now you got all these guys. This is just amazing. I love this. This is awesome.
So the top 3 spots on the grid did go to super late models, and it was the number 23 SK for Ron Hagelin for Team 6, who was 3rd. Top 3 right now, all super lates, and now they're already, you see the street stocks up to the outside of the racetrack and trying to get away from them. Looks like the 38 car, Clay Snyder for Team 4, going to go a lap down. The 24 of Steven Shore for Team 3. He'll go down. The 98 car up there as well. Look at the 51 to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to make something work. You got to do what you got to do and trying to make something work. That's Matt Rolfe on the very, very bottom. 3 wide now. SKs and street stocks now mixing. It looks like the super late models, though, making rather quick work of the lap traffic.
Oh, yeah, they're making pretty quick work of these street stocks. I feel bad for those guys. They got to feel like they're in a Pinto or something out there up on that high side. These guys are just whizzing right by him right now. It's, looks like Brooks has actually pulled out quite a bit of a lead, about 4 or 5 car lengths now over everybody else as these modifieds now, led by Ron Hagelin in the 23. These guys are trying to actually get up for the race lead.
Those SKs creeping forward. It looks like Joe Schaefer Jr. going to have a handful here in just a moment. The 23 of Hagelin for Team 6. Matt Rolfe for the Team 2 with Ryan Borges representing Team 1. Those are the top 3 running SKs right now, 4th through 6th on the racetrack. And to the inside, side by side for 5th overall goes Matt Rolfe. He wants to take 4th away from Hagelin. Again, trying the inside lane. That's something we saw Justin Brooks do on those opening few laps. Andy, it actually gave him the lead. Brooks leads the overall race in front of Krikorian by half a second.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, that bottom line gives him some, but it still seems like the momentum on that high side is going to prevail here, at least on the short run, as these drivers are still battling out here in the SKs for 4th overall on the track. And, I mean, this is just you're watching these guys battle hard right now. And do you think, Evan, that there's any possibility that, like, oh, trouble right in front of them?
I was just about to say we haven't really had any major issues, and now things starting to get a lot more fun on track. Trouble down in 3 and 4. Evidently, no caution flag. We stay clean and green, depending on your definition of clean. Justin Brooks, the number 33 machine. Big thing for that driver is he has dropped significantly, 5.8 seconds off of the top spot after he was that contact, and it was a lap car that slid up and got into him. Good job by him, Andy, though, to hang on. They'll take a look at the replay right now, and Brooks, fastest car on track, trying to get through contact. He hits the number 87, SK. He will hang on. No, he's spinning on the apron and saves it. Patrick Hahi gets the worst of that. The 87's already got it gathered back up, rather.
Yeah, working on this new one now. There's gonna be tons of replays to watch here on this one, Evan. And watching these guys, these guys are just putting on a great show right now. And you know, I was gonna ask you, like, is there maybe bragging rights for 1st overall, even if you're in different cars? Or you think these guys, especially in the modifieds and the super lates, are really trying? They want to be 1st on track also.
Well, not only does 1st overall, you know, it's going to help you just as much as 1st in your own division points-wise, but you'd like to be the 1st person to get to the checkered flag and maybe end the chaos a little bit quicker if possible. Tell you what, though, a good thing, I think, for bragging rights would be the super late guys versus the SK guys, because the SK is now up to 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Just Krikorian and Schaefer in front of them, and these SKs within a second of the race leaders. You see the 66 race leader on the bottom. Now they've caught up to the pack of late models, so they're working around them on the inside. 66 gets through. Krikorian still leading this race for Team 6. Team 3's Joe Schaefer in 2nd. Here comes Matt Rolfe representing Team 2. That SK really putting up a fight for these top spots.
Yeah, he is. As you see a couple of guys still going down to the bottom there in the apron, but they're trying. These SKs are definitely trying. Matt Wolf's probably been the strongest one so far. Hagelin, we saw him up there. Now look at him on the outside. Wolf, he's on the outside of the Joe Schaefer there, trying to make that high side work. He might be able to, but here's a lap traffic right now just in front of 30. He's going to make it happen. They'll move him up to second on track right now. Matt Rolfe is definitely showing the way for these SKs.
A lot of smoke on the inside of the racetrack. Somebody else bites the dust early here at lap 20. Lap 20, though, not the talking point. You see the time remaining on the ticker at the top of your screen. It's a timed event. Still a long way to go. Who knows how many laps will get done? Who knows how many cars will be left? Gregorian starting to get a little bit interesting, though, because now he's caught his first other super late model. Derek Robinson to the right machine, conveniently enough, representing Team 8. And look at the 51, Matt Rolfe 3 wide, and he wants the overall lead. Can't get it quite yet, but he's on the outside.
Yeah, I think there's something for it because he really wants it now. Here he is on the outside, a lot of lap traffic to deal with. He makes it happen. He's going to make easy work of it right now as he was able to get by Krikorian. It seemed rather easy there on the high side, especially with the lap traffic. Now he's making it 3 wide still. A little trouble right there, a little bobble from the 8 machine of Derek Robinson. He got loose there off of turn number 2, almost took out Matt Rolfe right there, but man, some tough break right there. That could have been spelled disaster for Rolfe after he's been the fastest one on the track so far.
And 51 could have easily ended up turned in all of that contact. Can't say I'm all that surprised, though, to see these SK Modifieds at the top of the board again. They dominated this Clash for Cash 1 year ago. Didn't quite have the quality speed. Look at the 51, left side tires on the yellow line to get around a couple of more pairs of lap traffic. He works around the 37 of Tim Bills for Team 8, who sits 37th overall. Also making a move on the number 56 car, Brandon Wilkinson, who sits right now 23rd overall and sits in the last spot for his respective division. More contact down in 2. How about this? 3 wide contact, the 87, the 58, the 1 car. It looks like the 87 machine going to get sped out of line. Patrick Hahi's down in the infield.
Yeah, a bunch of guys there that's just a battle right there of different classes being at the wrong place at the wrong time and faster guys. And you know, when you're that much faster than some of these cars, especially these street stocks, like I said, they're the slowest ones out there, and you're in these faster cars, you come up on these guys really, really fast, Evan, and it does not take much, or you've really got to make a split-second decision, especially when you got guys breathing down your neck.
And this will all continue on. Just 14 cars still on the lead lap, and we're really just now 10 minutes into this race. Still pit stops, still a lot to come in this one, but Matt Rolfe is taking the aggressive route because he's been able to get to the top spot in that SK, and he's brought friends with him. Ryan Borges to second, representing Team 1. He's second overall, second in class. Ron Hagelin for Team 6. Third overall and third in class for the SK. So the SKs now go 1, 2, 3. They drop the SLMs down to 4, 5, 6. So the top 6 invert from where they were on the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, I think you'll see this, like you said, they dominated last year, but these SKs, you know, with the longer runs, they're just the way the cars are set up. They're so much different than these super late models. And the longer run, the longer we are on this set of tires, you're going to see them definitely. The tire wear is so much different on these cars that the advantage is definitely there for these guys, and so much more grip in those cars, just the way they're designed and how low they are to the ground, the low center of gravity. These big bulky cars, these late models and super late models, very top heavy, and they tend to wear out that right front tire, especially on a track like this.
Michael German in the number 13 machine, going to go 3 wide with the 7 and the 16. That's 1 super late, 1 late model, so 3 different classes of cars going 3 wide around P6 overall. And German's going to be able to pass that 7 to James Linkowitz at the start-finish line to take over P5 overall. So the SKs on the long run definitely overcompensating for the lack of speed they had in comparison to the SLMs in qualifying. Somebody's racked up against the fence in corner 4. The 38, he'll get pounded by the 63.
Yeah, trouble there. There's one still. He's still stuck on a wall up there. A couple guys there, and looks like he might have to get a tow, but this is
gonna take a tow to pit road. Yeah, he's gonna get out of the way, and one car goes around, and you're 3, 4 lanes wide. All different race cars, all handling very differently. Once somebody gets turned around, Good luck getting around him for the most part. Looks like that was a 3-car wreck at least down in turn number 4. A lot of people, though, preferring to go to the inside. We talked about the fact that we have 2 quick fixes, Andy. That doesn't mean they're going to take them, though. There's a lot of guys out there with bent sheet metal.
Oh, there's tons of guys with bent sheet metal. There's going to be tons of guys with even more bent sheet metal. But like we talked about, 2 quick repairs, so that he can get a quick repair, get back out there. The 92, it looks like he's coming back on the track now, so he's going to get that thing all fixed up and head back out there and solid. Like you said, you never know what's going to happen. There's tons of time left here. Still a little over 30 minutes left to go. It's really an endurance race. Stay out of trouble, stay clean, mind your own business, make your pit stop when you can, and see where everything shakes out. I mean, that's pretty much what it's going to be, because the confusion's there now that all these cars are all mixed in with each other. You don't even know where the guy you're racing is, where he is in relation to you at this point. It's just, if you're faster than that guy in front of you, try to catch him. If you're not, just, stay out of the way and let these other guys get around you.
The 47 car making some good moves. That's Mark Welch. He is sitting 5th in class and 8th overall in his SK Modified, representing Team 7. He is going to the inside, going to the middle, and just having a lot of fun getting around the late models and the street stocks combined. Again, the super lates, not quite up to speed with these SKs. Oh, big trouble now down at a corner 2 into the inside wall goal. A couple of guys, they'll immediately take a tow to pit road, try to get things fixed back up. But the lead lap amount of cars very quickly diminishing here at Irwindale Speedway. It is still Matt Rolfe, Ron Hagelin, and Ryan Borges, though, the top 3, representing Team 2, 6, and 1, respectively. And then we go back to 4, 5, and 6, which are now, again, all super late models. James Linkowitz for Team 1, Team 3's Joe Schaefer and David Krikorian for Team 6. So Team 1 and Team 6. Team 1 right now has the 3rd highest driver in the SKs, and as well the 3rd highest driver in the SK Modifieds in comparison to those super lates, in which they sit in a good spot leading that category. Team number 2 was doing pretty good. Team 6 has the 2nd fastest SK driver, the 3rd quickest super late model driver. So those may be 2 neat names to keep an eye on as this race continues to progress.
Yeah, and I think, as this thing's shaking out, really, I think what's going to decide which team wins this thing is we got a huge battle right now. 3 wide there coming down the back straightaway into turn number 3. A couple SK Modifieds. It's a 47 of somebody, or the 87. The 13, I know he's in there in the middle of it. That's Hagelin, or German, excuse me. Those guys are battling hard with these guys. But you're talking about this. I think this team win is actually going to be decided by these slower cars. Who's where, and it's going to be, like you said earlier, when they finally decide who wins this thing, it's going to take a little while after this to decide what points are whose.
David Krikorian for Team 6 in the number 66 machine, 6th on track, 2nd in class for the super late models, is in that mix that you were just talking about with that 47 SK behind him. Mark Welch shooting it up the inside. He'll try to get around Bill Martin, who represents Team 4, and he's following Michael German for Team 3. Both these guys trying to get around the Super B number 84 machine in front of them. That is Russell Berry representing Team 5 on the outside of the racetrack, who looks like he is 6th in class for the super lates. Already 1 lap to the negative right now, trying to find a way through. But there's always somebody getting passed by somebody. There's always somebody running into somebody. Mike Whited just in front of these guys. The Team 1 driver, 29th overall and sitting 5th in class, essentially riding up against the outside retaining wall. You can be, like we mentioned with Team 1 and Team 6, you can be good up front, but if your other 2 divisions aren't running good, that'll kill you.
It'll kill you in a heartbeat. And that's why I say we're watching these guys, Matt Rolfe and Hagelin and Borges, really show the way around here. Especially the 3 of them total have a 7-second lead over 4th place right now. But those guys, they're going to dominate like this. But their guys in the other 2 divisions have some issues, and they're easily all that work that they did to get up front and to stay up front and get the lead just might be for nothing.
Yeah, Rolfe making this look like a clinic with that 3.6 second gap in front of Ron Hagelin. And, you know, it's funny, we'll see somebody lead a race and they'll be up by 3.6 seconds and we'll say, just don't find any trouble with lap cars. Good luck with that tonight. That's all this race is for Matt Rolfe. And he was a lot more aggressive, I will say, than David Krikorian. When he overtook him, Andy, the 51 made it 3 wide, took the outside of the racetrack. Again, they tell the lap cars to go up to the outside. The 51 didn't care, snuck between his slower car and the outside wall, made that pass. So although you want to keep the car in one piece, if you sit around, you're going to get run over by maybe 4 different teams and 4 different kind of cars from behind you. The 51 showing exactly why maybe it's that, go or go home approach that's allowing him to be running strong right now. Running for Team 2, leading this. Team 2 as far as the SK's overall race lead as well as in class. Team 2's super late model driver is Wade Tashida. He's 5th on track right now and 12th overall. They also have the 2nd highest late model with Dave Iriendo in 18th. And then their street stock driver is 4th overall with Ian Lane, 27th overall on the racetrack, 4th in class. So not bad either.
No, pretty good. So right, I think good. And we talked about his almost 4-second lead now he's got now. He's actually going to start lapping some SKs here. Right now, looks like he's getting around the 87. Patrick Hay. Oh, wait, he's already a couple laps down. Sorry. I told you I'd be the first one to probably be confused here. But he's making great time. But you know what? One mistake, not even by him, by somebody else in maybe one of these slower divisions that just doesn't see him coming. You know, now he's going to be sitting on pit road with the tow for a couple minutes, and he can just throw it all away. So I think he's doing the right thing, being aggressive, staying up front, if you want to call it out front, but he's able to dictate where he wants to go. He's in control of his own destiny right now, and I think that's the approach you got to take, and he's making it happen now.
A couple of big names within SARA not in this race tonight that did have the ability to race if they wanted to. Names like Ty Majeski, Cody Kelly, Casey Kelly, Cody Thompson, Anthony Salentino, Kevin Myers, Scott Dunlap, and Ken Ballinger. Wouldn't be surprised at all if maybe spotting for some of these guys, because we talk about in the sim and in these regular races, somebody's helping these guys with the fuel strategy and whatnot. Much like how difficult it's going to be to calculate the points at the end of the night, the guy can't really drive and use the calculator at the same time as race leader Matt Rolfe goes 4 wide, splitting an SK and the late model on the outside to continue to grow that gap. In a situation like that where I wouldn't be surprised if they shut their automatic in-sim spotters off for this, because he's just going to be screaming at you at all times. Yeah.
How annoying could that be at this point? Inside, outside, 3 wide, 1, 2 outside, geez, that just, after a while, you just got to, if you're Matt Rolfe, you know where these guys are because you're passing them. You know that guy's inside. Because you just went around him. And you look at him working the high side right now around everybody. I mean, it seems like the slower cars just running that lower or the middle line there and letting these SKs have that top side. As you look at him come now on 2 wide here, drops right down to the bottom. So Rolfe's definitely in control of what he wants to do right now.
He got it by the 25 to 98 street stocks. That's Todd Spite in the 25 for Team 6. And the 98, we talked about Ian Lane for Team 2. Those guys making contact with each other because they're at the same speed. It is kind of funny, as you mentioned it, Matt Rolfe, because he's quicker than everybody else, he knows where everybody is because he's setting them up. You saw he went 3 wide to the outside. Next corner, 3 wide to the bottom of the racetrack to be able to make that next move. When you're going forward, you know what's happening because you're planning your line accordingly. For the guys that are getting past, especially these street stock guys, and for the most part, they've been nice and they've rid it up against the outside wall. So, a class that I would look at would be those late models. They're not significantly off pace with the race leaders, but they're not quick enough to challenge for them, but they're much quicker than the street stocks. Those guys have both, different extremes going on where there's guys getting around them and they're getting passed by people. I feel like that would be one of the more hectic classes in this race.
Yeah, and you're watching those guys that, you're talking about the late model guys, and you got to remember too that because of the speeds they're running with, there's probably 1 or 2 of the same class right there with them. So they're racing hard. They're concentrating on getting that around that guy in front of them. As we see the leader Matt Rolfe decide to take his way down pit road. Now he's going to make his pit stop here on the 22-minute, almost 23-minute mark, right about the halfway point. So you see they're battling so hard with these other guys. they're concentrating on those guys. They're not really paying attention to, oh my God, look at it. All of a sudden, they go to make a move to the outside, and oops, there's an SK modified that just jumped out of nowhere that they didn't even see coming.
Pit road, a busy place. We got guys going backwards on pit road. We got guys sideways on pit road. But a big thing you pointed out, Matt Rolfe, does come down to number 51 SK modified from the race lead. Timed that one pretty good because that means we're rated halfway home just about in this SARA Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational presented by Callaway Investments and the Posse. Matt Rolfe going to get back out there. Now he's right back in the feeding frenzy with everybody else, and Ron Hagelin is going to lead this race at this point for team number 6 in the SKs. And pit stops, again, mandatory 4-tire pit stop. That's going to be a big part now that we're halfway, Andy. I would imagine the floodgate's going to open to come down pit road, but let's kind of try to give you a vague idea of where everybody's running in their respective class. And again, these are probably going to change as we go through them, but I'll start with the SK class. Right now, the SK class leader is Ron Hagelin with Team 6. He's first on a racetrack, first overall. Mark Welch is second in class and second overall. Michael Baxter for Team 8 is third in the SK division right now. Matt Rolfe is fourth in the SKs, and fifth is Patrick Hahey for Team 5. Michael Gerain as well is sixth for the SKs. Ryan Borges is seventh in the SKs for Team 1, 10th overall. And Travis Warling is 12th overall on the racetrack, but as well, he has scored in 8th for the SK class. The Super Late shuffling up as well. Wade Tashida leads the Super Late class. He's 6th on track. Behind him, David Krikorian is 2nd in the Super Late model division. He is 8th. James Linkowitz for team number 1. He is 3rd, and he'll now drop down to 4th in the Super Lates. Brooks going to take 3rd in the Super Lates for Team 7. Russell Berry for Team 5 on pit road. He'll drop to about 7th or 8th for the Super Lates. It'll give Joe Schaefer for Team 3 the number 5 spot. Derek Robinson going to take the number 6 spot. He's representing Team 8. Paul Fugate looks like he'll remain 8th out of 8 cars for the Super Lates as Russell Berry falls down. That's how the SKs and the Super Lates look, Andy. How are things looking back there with the late models and as well the street stocks?
Well, the late models, Bill Martin right now for Team 4. He's leading the charge for those guys, running 15th on track. The 88 of Matt Eddy, Team 3. He's going to be 2nd for the late models. 70 of David Riendu. He's going to be 3rd, running 18th on the track. That's for Team 2. Team 7's driver, Cody Leland, he's 16. He's running 19th on the track. He is 4th in the division. Running 5th in the division is Wendell Stratton in the number 1 car right now, but he's on track at running 20th. The 56 of Brandon Wilkinson, he is 6th, it looks like, in that division, and the 56 for team number 6. Team number 1 representation, Mark Gamick, he's in the 63. He's on track right now in the 23rd spot. Ty Spearman is the 8th and final driver in the late models. He's in the number 92, representing Team 5. For the street stocks now, all the way down to the bottom of the list there. First in that division right now is the 58 of Mike Whited. He's running 25th on the track, some 12 laps down right now to the leaders. Stephen Shore in the number 24. He is 2nd in the division, running 26th. The 98 of Ian Lane, representing Team 2. He is 3rd in the division, while Daryl Hamlin runs 4th in the division for team number 7 in the 36. Todd Sipe for team number 6 is running in the 5th position in the number 25, and 6th in the 37 is Tim Bills. And rounding out the last one on the field, he's 15 laps down, Clay Snyder for team number 4 in the 38. He is running 7th for the street stocks.
All right, got it, because there's a test.
What? I'm lost.
Those are the 4 divisions right now, kind of giving you an idea of where some of these teams are running. Team 1, 2 having some strong runs. Team 5 for the most part, but again, they don't have their street stock driver, so that really going to kill them. By the way, if we were to go back down through that again, it's completely different. Only thing I can tell you is the SK Modifieds are leading this race. It's Hagelin, Welch, Rolfe, and Derman. Team 6, 7, 2, and 3 represented inside the top 4. The SKs have taken over control of this race. past the halfway point. We're going to be with inside of 20 minutes to go, and a race to the checkered flag going to be on. We'll be right back from Irwindale as we step away and go LSRTV non-stop with all the action. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the Sim Auto Racing Association Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational tonight from Irwindale Speedway, presented by Callaway Investments and the Posse.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Back live at the virtual Irwindale Speedway. Things have not settled down at all. You saw some contact, you saw a 360 keep going, and we've also seen a lot of big position shuffles. How about Matt Rolfe back to the top spot? He leads the top class in those SK modifieds, and as well as your current overall race leader. At number 51, representing team number 2. Team 2, though, slowly falling down the SLM standings. Wade Tashida in 5th overall for the Super Late. Things getting quite close here into the latter half of this. Close it in on 15 minutes left to go in this SARA Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational. Tonight's coverage on LSRTV is presented in part by Callaway Investments and the Posse. Up in the broadcast booth alongside of myself for Pasoko Andy Kessler. Our executive producer tonight is Laura Lawson. Andy, so we decided to scrap the test because probably a pretty low success rate on that one, but this race really coming down to the end, and again, it is kind of difficult to gauge you know, what teams are having strong runs, because the standings continue to shuffle, you know, I mean, at least 10 position changes per lap, because in the middle portion of the race, these guys were getting through pit stops. Things are going to calm down. And when I say calm down, I mean not going to shuffle up as much, but that means everybody's going to be back out on track, and that's when things are going to get really congested, now that for the most part, I think all of these guys have gotten that 4-tire stop out of the way.
Yeah, everybody's been to pit road now, so that's all out of the way. Matt Rolfe back to the lead, about 14 seconds over second. Michael German, so pretty much German right now, he's a lap ahead of third, so as we watch Matt Rolfe, just literally in the last couple of laps, he has just been swarmed with cars everywhere. Right now, he's got a little bit of breathing room, it looks like, for at least a couple more laps. But he's been really bobbing and weaving through this traffic quite nicely here tonight, really dictating how and where and when he wants to go and get by these guys. And, you know, a lot of respect shown from these other classes, giving him the room and just kind of holding their line, doesn't matter where they are, because he showed he's going to go to the bottom, he's going to go to the top, he'll go through the middle, he'll go wherever he wants, and the rest of the field has definitely been everybody for the most part. I mean, not just for him, but it's been a pretty clean race here.
Mark Welch always seems to be jumping out at me in the 47, one of the SK Modifieds, 8th overall in this race and 6th in class. He doesn't have a bright car. I don't know why I keep spotting him, but he likes to go 3-4 wide. He'll get hit from the 7. We're getting physical with a car that's 2 laps down from him. James Linkowitz contact that time down to quarter number 3. We do have 30 cars still in this race. Only 2, though, on the lead lap. It's Matt Rolfe and Michael German, separated by 15.5 seconds. So German actually may lose his lead lap status, and Rolfe may be the only person to complete all of these laps. An interesting thing about a timed race, Andy, is for the most part, these races at short tracks, feature races aren't that long. Again, we had the ability to cover the RB Performance, Super Late Model Series, Triple Crown races. So the races that we saw, 150 laps, 200 laps, those were longer races than the regular ones because they were Triple Crowns. Matt Rolfe right now with still plenty of time on the clock, already working his 107th consecutive lap. So we talk about a long green flag stretch, everybody gets spread out. We say that to an extent on the sim is actually physically enduring. Going through that while trying to make passes every single lap, not an easy task at all either.
No, it's not. But just to give you an idea, he's working lap 108, and then you go to the top running street stock right now, Darrell Hamlin, who's doing a great job for team number 7 here. He's leading the way in the street stocks, and he's working lap number 93 now. So that just in the 36, Darrell Hamlin. That just shows us we got trouble there. Hagelin, he was on the bottom of turn number 2 there. He had some issues, got spun off of the corner. That was number 23 of Hagelin. But it just shows you, you know, it's just 15 laps down. I mean, that's a pretty significant. Oh, so we got trouble right now.
Oh, big trouble down in 1 and 2. Multiple cars, and Stefan Shore for Team 3 is on his lid in the 24. That'll be a tow back to pit road. You were talking about Hagelin having issues. He got turned by Justin Brooks after he tried to beat the nose of the 33. Now more, look at this, 4 wide, 23 in the middle. Things really getting crazy now in 3 and 4. Are you kidding me? Down the front straightaway, that's like 9 cars within half a second.
Yeah, just a huge gaggle right now, and the leader's right there in the middle of it. You got street stocks on the high side. You got modifieds trying to weave in and out of all these guys. What a great job by everybody to get this done. And I think I jinxed Hamlin there on that last one there. He was doing good leading the street stocks, and now he's on pit road. So, unfortunately for him. But, yeah, definitely seating up, Rouse. Hagelin, he gets in the back of the 8 car. Jeez, he was able to hang on to that thing. I was what? Oh, now he's spinning in turn 2.
That was about 3 different saves in the span of 1 corner. Somehow the Passport Chevrolet of Derek Robinson for Team 8 in the super late model category, rather, really struggling with the handling, and the damage does not help much at all. Let's go on board with the 8. Take a slip and slide around the virtual Irwindale Speedway. Up against the outside wall is where he runs right now, and where he runs in class, not where he would like to, is 7th overall in that class and 14th overall on track.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been a few guys just like that getting loose, or getting help, I should say. Almost losing the thing right in the corner. It could take out a whole bunch of guys, and these guys are definitely hanging on to these cars here tonight and making some great saves. We've had a lot of chances for some big wrecks, and these guys are definitely doing a great job, and that just shows you the caliber of driver, especially in the All-Star race here tonight.
Yeah, all of these drivers, the best of the best, invitation only to get into this from 4 different series. The only thing we've seen somewhat similar to this on LSRTV would be the Extreme Motorsports .9.com All-Star Invitationals, where they take the top drivers from different leagues, bring them all together. However, they're all out there in the same race car. Definitely tonight a very different animal. You're not going to see anything else like this anywhere on the sim. And Matt Rolfe is your overall race leader. Just under now 10 minutes left to go. We're within 9 minutes and about 40 seconds or so for the checkered flag. Matt Rolfe now, though, the only driver on what is quote-unquote the lead lap, which at the moment is represented by 119 as he goes down to quarter 1. Michael German dropped to second. And how about Ryan Borges representing Team 1? Going to put the 32 SK to second overall on track, and as well, that'll be second in class.
Yeah, and these guys are just behind the leader, too. So, great job by all these guys done tonight. I think the only thing that'd make this even more interesting, Evan, is to open it up to the figure 8 track.
I'll tell you what, some of the contact, it has appeared to be a figure 8. What I'm pretty sure we might need more than just 2 quick fixes if we were running the figure 8. You wouldn't know it's not, though, by some of these guys. They're thinking a figure 8 on the front straightaway alone, inside, outside, through the middle, splitting gaps. It's all part of the game. Matt Rolfe, though, comfortably in front. I'll hesitate to say he's got it locked down, Andy, because, again, I mentioned this at the top of the show. We thought we kind of had an idea on what was going to happen in this race 1 year ago. Well, it hit the fan, essentially, late in this one, and I think in the final 5 minutes of that one, the overall points win changed about 3-4 times just because so many people had late race problems. Here in the 24, Stefan Shore, more issues. That car, 31st out of 31 cars, and he's 7th in class.
Yeah, he's had a rough night here all night tonight. Been in numerous little incidents, tiny little things, nothing major, but enough to get him down pit road a few times, and unfortunately he's struggling. So giving it his all right now as our leader, Wolf. He's just got a gaggle of cars right in front of him here, a couple street stocks up high. Now he's going to dive to the high side to get around Brooks. Now he's going to have trouble because he has nowhere to go. He's going to try to wedge it down. What an amazing job right there. Brooks kind of cutting him off right there.
That's the second time that happened. The 51 goes to the outside on Brooks, and Brooks uses a slow street stock as a pick. Tries to get around him again. Matt Rolfe driving for Team 2. Justin Brooks driving for Team 7. Plus, they're in different divisions. Don't expect them to pull over and get out of each other's way. Let's go on board with Matt Rolfe to the outside. What a move. Powers by at a corner 4 and gets cleared down to 1. That's how you got to do it. And already diving back to the inside.
Yep, back to the inside off of turn number 2. A few guys behind him. A couple more SK Modifies trying to get around Brooks. Doesn't look like it's going to happen too easily. Brooks really driving the wheels off of that thing. We saw him win last week here in the season finale of the Super Late Models at South Boston. So Brooks is right back out here trying to get some. Got some smoke there in the corner, but everybody able to keep it straight there. Yeah, no, great job by him. He's trying to hang on to that thing, and he finally gets past there.
Oh, that smoke from Derek Robinson. Team 8, the number 8 car, again continues to have the back end of that car about 45 degrees out of line. So he's trying to hit around the racetrack and just make it to the end. The 33 car getting physical now late in this race. Having a little bit of hard racing towards the end of this one. Justin Brooks talking about how he's not been shy recently. He got hit by the 23, quickly repaid the favor.
Yeah, he did. Some temper starting to flare here towards the end of this thing. I don't see why they would flare up. I mean, come on, you're maybe 4 wide right now through the corners as we look just ahead of Brooks right now with Hagelin trying to make ways through. We got a couple SKs that actually make contact as they're trying to get around through. Not sure exactly who that is yet. It looks like the 87 of Patrick Hay. He was involved.
Big wreck now, and it's trouble. Matt Rolfe, your overall race leader and class leader in the SK Modifieds, up and over down to corner number 1. I don't want to say I called it, but I called it. He went to the inside of the racetrack, Andy, like he had done all night long, but took himself up. He came up the racetrack over the nose of Russell Berry, who is Team 5's representative in the Super Late Models and 7th in class. Just cuts the nose off. The 84 goes upside down, and he takes himself out of the overall race lead.
takes him out of lead, has to tow. The only good thing for him is Borges on pit road because he was right behind him. The 13 of Michael German, he was right behind him. He's on pit road. The only good thing for those guys is they were able to drive down pit road, not have to tow, so they don't have to sit there and wait that couple minutes that it typically takes. So now we're going to have a big mix-up here in the top of the running order.
And that's going to put Travis Worley to the race lead in this one in the SK Modified number 90 machine. Team 4, take a look at how they're running. Well, Paul Fugate, not that he was looking for 7th overall in that SLM class, but they're also leading the late model class, and they're not running good in the street stock. So 2 out of the 4 divisions, they're in the top 2, and the other 2, they're in the bottom 2. That's a part of the game, but Travis Worling wants to win this race. David Krikorian, though, just 6 seconds back, albeit the SLMs have not been as quick as the SKs on these long green flag stretches. Again, 3 SLMs out-qualify the SK Modifieds at the start. I feel like Travis Worling has the advantage over Krikorian, but he needs to be careful to not do what Matt Rolfe did. He has to go to the inside of the racetrack to make these passes. It's very easy to slide up and over top of somebody. 4 minutes, 15 seconds left to go. By the way, Matt Rolfe will fall from the overall race lead to 9th on track and now 7th in class. Andy, a huge hit for Team 2.
Huge hit, led pretty much this whole thing once he got the lead away from these guys, probably at around lap 20 or so, I think it was. Yeah, Travis Worling, great example right there. A name we didn't really even talk about this whole race here. And here he is right now in the 90 car, just minding his own business. Now he's got to continue to happen as he makes some contact right there. Another SK Modified. I can't see the number, but it looks like the 98 maybe. But they, yeah, he's just having some, he's just minding his business, keeping his thing clean, made his pit stop, was able to avoid that wreck as all the leaders had to come down. So now he's got to do what didn't happen for Matt Rolfe, and that's stay out of trouble here for the last few minutes.
I believe I saw the 23 car get turned around in turn numbers 3 and 4, so that would take Ron Hagelin out of this race. Again, Hagelin, more issues after running strong, much like we saw Matt Rolfe do earlier on in this race. Just 3 minutes left on the clock. Worling's gap is closing. The challenger, though, is not David Krikorian. You talked earlier in this one, Andy, that although you got to win your respective division, you want to get that overall race win as well. So Ryan Borges not only fighting to get the overall class win, but he wants to win this race flat out, and he just gained 0.7 of a second on Travis Worling. That time by the gap between the top 2 on track and top 2 in the SKs, just 3.7 seconds, and the 32 wants it all the way to the bottom. He's going for it.
Yeah, he's going for it. Is right. He's taking that real bottom line right there. He just gained another 0.6 of a second on the lead right there. As you look, if you watch Ryan Borges in the 32, right now he's running the high side, but 2 laps ago he was running that right down on the grass there in 3 and 4. So he's searching, trying to find the fast way around as he comes up on lap traffic now. Going to stick it in and get it underneath the 37 in the street stock. As we're getting approached out 2 minutes now, and he's going to have to some traffic to get around here. The time still continuing to shrink down to 2.5.
He continues to close the gap now, just a 2-second gap between him and a race leader, and less than 2 minutes to go in this race. The 32 trying to catch Travis Worling. Look at the outside of Travis Worling. The 7, the 33, so many cars, 3-4 wide. The 58's up there, the 63. Worling can't swing the car out wide to get a run. Ryan Borges trying to follow this big pack through on the outside of the racetrack to get something going. It is a battle for the race lead down, and we close in just about 1 minute to go in this race. Borges, he is trying to get to Travis Worling, though the track's blocked. Can he find a way through?
Yeah, and here they come now. Worling trying to hang on to this thing. Here comes the 7 machine and the late model, the super late model, trying to get around him. But here we go. Ryan Borges, he's there now. He's all over his back bumper off of turn number 4.
The number 90 car, Travis Worling, representing Team 4, is the SK Modified leader, but the overall race leader, Ryan Borges, is there. 45 seconds on the clock to the inside of the racetrack. Can he get a job done? Catching somebody's one thing, trying to set up a pass, Andy's another. Although you don't have to make it picture perfect, you just got to do it somehow.
trying to set up a pass with 3 other divisions that are trying to get around here as we close 30 seconds left on this thing here. Now as the lead is just shrunk right now off of turn number 4. He's right on his back bumper, less than a car length now, heading back into turn 1.
Final 1 or 2 circuits maybe around the racetrack in this Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational. Having a photo finish to the inside, Ryan Borges down to the yellow line. Travis Worley, the defensive line up top. Sideways, they'll get loose, and it's not gonna be enough to hang on. Borges on the inside of the racetrack, just as the white flag flies, gonna take over the race lead. One more shot for Travis Worley. Outside, how about the 23 gonna spoil the party up the middle? He'll take the number 90 and Travis Worley out in corner number 4. Worley is gonna go to the outside of the racetrack, not be able to catch back up, and Ryan Borges at the checkered flag representing team number 1 and coming from 6th on the grid. Andy Kessler is gonna win this race by leading just 2 laps.
What a power move he made right to the bottom side there to get around Travis Worley. Worley ended up having to deal with the 23 of Hagelin, which I was very shocked on. I don't know if Hagelin has a beef to pick with Travis Worley or not, but I would have thought he would have stayed out of the way there for that one. But he got right in the mix there. Actually got into Travis Worley there, coming off the 4 and not giving him not able to give him a chance to even get off the corner to get a chance for the win.
We'll come back and give you the full race results as well as the full results from each class, as race control already busily try to tabulate the points and let us know which team does take home. Team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 in the SARA Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational presented by Callaway Investments and the Posse. Ryan Borges, your race winner, and takes home the SK Division. David Krikorian, 5th overall, wins the Super Late Models. Bill Martin for Team 4 wins the Late Models, 16th overall. And your winner in the Street Stocks for Team 2 was Ian Lade. We'll step away for just a moment. Still a lot more to come here post-race for the virtual Irwindale Speedway. Another classic SARA Clash for Cash is in the books. We'll talk to some of your top finishers and get you some results in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
I'm Dan Garrison, software engineer at iRacing. Since the beginning of Papyrus and through iRacing, the track has been unchanging through a session. Whatever you have at the beginning is what you have for the duration of the session and the end. The track doesn't change. What we want to do is be able to have the track respond to what's going on, to have cars interact with the track, to have the track change in temperature, in the amount of rubber. We want marbles, and we want those to be generated by the cars, putting them where they should be and picking them up and re-throwing them off the race line. It's a physical-based model that we focus on first and foremost. The tire and the track interaction, what's really going on there. It would be easy to just quickly throw something together. Our standards are, it needs to make sense. What's really going on, even at the molecular level between the track and the tire. The way the track works, essentially, is we divide it up into small cells that your car interacts with. So if you're adding temperature to a certain part of the track, we can pretty accurately know exactly where that is. That gets transmitted to the server. So if I'm in a race, my data is going to the server with everybody else in the session. The server accumulates that and basically broadcasts a consistent track state to everyone, so everyone's got the same track that they're racing on. One of the big challenges was being able to implement this dynamic track with any number of clients connected and have it just work as you would expect. Have it be the same for everyone in the service who's in a session. So to kind of give a little bit of a preview of the state of things right now, I basically have run number of laps at 5 flags with the effects exaggerated for demonstration purposes so that we can kind of immediately see what's going on with the track. Right here is basically the track at the beginning of the session. There is a little bit of rubber on there that's put programmatically. That's the starting state of this track, and it's fairly low rubber at this point. If we skip ahead to the end, yeah, I did about 30 laps. So at the very end, you can kind of see all this darkened in right here. This is where I was running the car. So, well, there you go. And again, this is exaggerated. A single car in 30 laps is not going to darken the track anywhere near this level. We also have the ability to see the temperature, similar to an IR camera. At the beginning of the session, it's a little bit warm down here. It's very cool up here. As we skip ahead, all of a sudden this part of the track has become very warm. This is where I was running the car. And we can also drag the little thumbnail and see the effect of time.
We're back live at the virtual Irwindale Speedway. The SARA Clash for Cash is in the books, and Team 2 are your official winners in tonight's race. In the SK Modified category, Matt Rolfe comes home in 5th for that class. In the super late models as well, for team number 2, Wade Tashida comes 4th in class. For the late models, Dave Riendo comes 3rd in class, and Ian Lane wins the street stock class. 13 total accumulated points puts Team 2 on the top of the pile, and they are your winners. We'll talk to them in just a few moments here, but first we'll get some reaction from your class winners here in this SARA Clash for Cash. The driver that ended up taking home the win in the late model division tonight, driver number 39 and representing Team 4, was Bill Martin. Started this race in 17th and comes home in 16th. Bill, congratulations on your win in that late model category. The late models, when we were talking up here, seem to be an interesting group because the SKs and the SLM guys up front, they could make quick work of the street stocks and were, relatively easy to get around you guys. But we were talking about how with so much going on track, we feel like if you're passing somebody, you have a good idea of, where they are. Being in that middle tier of car, you're passing guys are passing you. So we thought those late models probably would have been the most hectic, I guess, division tonight. You come home 7 laps down to the top spot, but most importantly, you're a lap ahead of anybody else in your respective division. How'd you get the job done, and how'd you get through that in relatively one piece?
Basically the same way David in the other room, just before you pulled me down here, said, drive it like a road course. If you see somebody coming up behind you who is clearly faster, get them around you as fast as possible, and hopefully the guys that you're trying to pass will think the same thing when you're coming up behind them. It was pretty hectic. It was the most hectic during the pit stops, but otherwise it was pretty much okay. Although every now and then I'd forget to look behind me when passing one of the street stocks and realize that there was, 5 or 6 cars coming very, very quickly. So it was a little sketchy sometimes.
Well, you guys do a good job in the end. Team 4, one of the teams that we were talking about, looked like you guys were going to have a really strong run, but didn't quite have the results in all of the categories. So you guys end up tied for 3rd overall. So a strong run nonetheless. We talked about the 4-tire pit stop with no cautions being the mandatory thing. It looked like a lot of guys came down in that big rush of cars around halfway. Is that what you guys did as well?
My intention is usually to go in at 22.5 minutes. I think this time I went in about a minute and a half later. It wasn't my intention, I just forgot to look. And we usually have Matt tell us when we hit the halfway mark, and he didn't this time. So I kind of forgot to look. But it ended up working out better, because everybody else was looking evidently, and everybody went to the pits pretty much the same time. So when I went in the pits, I pretty much had a clear shot. It was pretty easy to pull off.
Well, I'll tell you, running these late models, and you're no stranger to them. You ran part-time in this past Pro Late Model Series season. 8 starts, also had a trip to Victory Lane with 4 top 5s and 5 top 10s. Not sure if this counts as an official win, but again, you do take home the late model division here tonight in this Clash for Cash. You said that for the most part, things, you had them relatively under control. Racing like this, when me and Andy were talking up in the booth about different kinds of all-star races you'll see where you bring other guys in, they all race together. You guys didn't know your teams coming into this. There's 4 different divisions on track at the same time. Give me maybe the best thing about racing in a race like this, and maybe the worst thing or the hardest thing about getting through one of these.
The best and the worst, Okay. How about the best thing is, because of the nature of the race, you know how races go. Sometimes you'll see the same guy win every week, and in races like this, it's not the case. Especially with the ability to take a pit stop at any given time, as long as you're doing it, and that's really cool. That's why I really like divisions, or not divisions, but leagues that do like one tire change, because it gives you a strategy that may get the king of the track to not win for a change. The worst thing, there's not really that much I don't like about racing like this, because I like oval racing more than I like road racing, but I still love road racing too, so it's really cool to do something predominantly road racing wise and then bring it over to the oval side. But what's really funny is watching the lap counters go absolutely out of their minds, because the track's so short, cars are hitting laps so quickly. You almost never know how far behind somebody is if you can't see them. Like for a little while, somebody was a lap down, but they weren't. It's really weird. I guess there's something bad. The lap counter can't keep up.
I tell you what, we were having trouble keeping up too as well. I think right before the halfway point, we went down through all of the standings, class by class, and by the time we were done, they were completely different. So we just said, take a look at the ticker and go on it. But again, Team 4, you guys do a good job tonight. You come home tied for third in the team standings. So on behalf of yourself as well as your teammates driving the SKs for Team 4, Travis Worley, and your SLM driver, Paul Fugate, and your street stock driver, Clay Snyder. Bill, anybody you want to thank when we got you here?
All right, first we got to thank Travis Warling because he did a really good job. And then no thanks to those other two because we lost, all because of them. So no thanks to that. Just kidding. I don't really care where we finish because it's just a lot of fun to drive around. Also thanks to the Posse. This setup was entirely, I believe, made either by James, maybe James. Either James made it or Ty Spearman. And I didn't have time to make it. I haven't been racing much this season, so big thanks to those guys for supplying me a really, really nice setup.
Posse on the race car. Posse, one of the presenting sponsors for tonight's race. Bill, you win your clash. You guys come home third overall. Congratulations, and thanks for sticking around chatting for a little bit.
Anytime.
So that was your driver that comes home 16th overall, but Andy, the big thing again, he does win the Pro Late Model Division. Bill Martin for Team 4, one of the big reasons they're still able to come home with that tie for third in the team points. Going to pass things up to you, to the driver that comes home 5th overall tonight and wins his respective category, which was the Super Late Models that, if you tuned in for the past couple of months, you got on LSRTV, including 1 week ago, a familiar name. You've caught up with David Krikorian for Team 6.
That's right. I did catch up with David Krikorian. And David, it was kind of a fascinating race. You ended up starting on the pole. You finished 5th overall. Not too bad. First in your class. Got the win in that aspect. Unfortunately, though, your team, Team 6, just had a rough night there in those other divisions.
Yeah, and it is what it is. It's more of a fun thing. And I don't know how Matt chooses teams. I think it's just by kind of a random draw, and a couple of the really good guys got on one team, and it's just kind of how it came out.
Yeah, well, overall, we talk about you guys obviously in the qualifying had really, really fast cars on fresh tires as opposed to the SKs. But then as the race went on and you had these longer runs, it seemed like you guys just couldn't quite hang with these guys on the long run. Was that the case here tonight?
It's with the wider tires in the SK, they're just going to haul through the corner once the tires start to wear off more. And the Super has so little tire compared to the SK that just we can only kill them on the straightaway, but not in the corners after about 15 laps.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It was about 15 to 20 laps there when those guys started taking over the lead in there. Now, talk about tonight as far as passing. You guys obviously right up there with speed with the SKs. Now you're coming up on these street stocks, especially the street stocks, rather quickly, and then of course the late models, and trying to negotiate through that at the same time, keep an eye on the guys that you're actually racing up against, plus the guys that you're trying to fend off and keep behind you in order for you to get the win here in your division. So how was negotiating your way through this traffic? Was it as crazy as it looked that we saw up here?
You had to be brave quite a bit. I mean, for being a half mile over, you imagine like in a multi-class race on iRacing, just trying to weave through the slower traffic every other lap once you catch up to them. It was kind of like that, except a lot more close quarters and a lot more cars.
Yeah, it definitely looked it looked a lot of fun at times. I mean, other times it looked like some guys going 4 wide and 3 wide. We saw that so many times out there. But was it hard to figure out who you were actually racing with at the time? Did you have any idea you were in the lead for your division, or was it more of just a just kind of see where it ends up and see how it plays out there at the end and wait to the end to see where you end up?
I just kind of glanced at my position every few minutes. You really couldn't look long enough to actually pay attention to where everyone else was at, just because of everybody you're having to catch up. You got to pay attention to what's in front of you.
Well, you did a great job yourself there, coming in 5th overall. Team, like I said, Ron Haglund had a good run early on there, had some issues towards the end. He kind of struggled. Brandon Wilkinson and Todd Sipe also made up Team 6. I know they kind of throw you in here and you figure out who's on your team at the as soon as you guys get in here. So kind of a random draw, but overall a good effort. You did your part at least, right? And you came home. Your team at least finished 4th here tonight. Anyone you like to thank for this great run?
I'd like to thank Justin Brooks and Wheeland Deal. Brooks did some work on the setup, kind of derived it from last week at Sobo, which worked out pretty well. Matt and Sarah putting this thing on, I think is the 3rd CLASH4CASH that they've done, 3rd or 4th, I'm not sure, but it's my first one I've been in. It was pretty fun.
Well, it looked like a lot of fun, and you did it. You brought it home first in your division for your team, and 5th overall, which is also a great feat considering the talent that was surrounding you here tonight. David, congratulations again on that 5th place finish, and we'll see you right here next time.
Thank you.
All right, Evan. Well, there he is. First in his division for the super late models. Comes home 5th overall, David Krikorian, and man, it makes it tough when you're a guy that gets a job done, wins your division, then you find out the results after, and you notice that your teammates kind of struggled in their own divisions.
It acts exactly the same situation we have with your overall race winner in this one. Ryan Borges, representing Team 1, not only takes home the SK division win, but as well the overall race win. However, Team 1 comes home in 2nd. They had 15 total points. Team 2 takes it home with 13 points. Ryan, we were just talking with the winner of the Super Late Models, David Krikorian, who wins that for his division, but the team not good enough because some of the slower divisions, their respective drivers, did not get the job done. You got the job done, but unfortunately, everybody else 2 spots short from being able to get you guys the hardware at the end of this one. First off, I should say congratulations on that one. Talk us through that finish. 45 minutes later, and at least a couple dozen, 4 or 5 wide battles later, you're closing in on Travis Worling, coming to the checkered flag. You lead 2 laps to get it done.
Yeah, that was very interesting to say the least. Matt Rolfe, he led pretty much that entire race from the start. We started, all the SKs started right behind the Supers because they were, first couple laps the Supers were a little quicker. They're able to go a lot faster on the straightaways, and after a few laps they would just fall off, and the SKs were able to just power by them through the center, entry and center of the corners. But yeah, Matt led most of that race, and I was running a good 2nd or 3rd the majority of that. When we actually had pit stops, I missed the stall and had to back up down pit road a little bit, so that I thought that was going to be the end of my race or any shot at getting Matt. And I was a lap down after I came out of the pits to him for most of the second half of the race, but there was a huge wreck there. I think it was inside 10 laps to go, and it took out Matt, it took out me, it took out Michael Germain, and it was it was a matter of who was able to use their fast repair first, and I was able to just I got hit hard, but I was able to loop the car around and get it down pit road quick, and I came out, I think, 8 or 9 seconds behind Travis there, and it was a matter of I didn't think I was going to be able to run him down, but I was able to gain a lot of time on him quick. Just I think he was having a tough time navigating traffic, which I was having a tough time doing early in the race. But yeah, I was able to catch him there right at the end, and I thought I was I honestly thought I was gonna get stuck in traffic there at the end. There's just cars everywhere the whole race, so that was really the tough part, navigating around other cars. But that was really exciting for a finish, 45-minute race. To come down to the last lap, that was pretty cool. I was happy to take home the win. I didn't think I was able to didn't really have the car to get it, but I guess I came out with it, so that's good.
You get the job done nonetheless, and again, winning your division, you guys get 15 total accumulated points. You only added 1 to that total, so you did everything you could do up at the front of the field. We saw these SKs run strong, and they dominated the last season's Clash for Cash as well here with SARA. Tonight, though, the Super Lates got you guys on the grid, and you actually qualified 6th overall. Didn't even put down a time in the practice. However, you are familiar with these SKs. You ran in the SK Modified Series. You came home 3rd in the points. You got 6 top 5s and 9 top 10s on that. Late there, when you were trying to catch up to Whirling, you were up against the wall. You were down on the yellow line. What was the most effective way to navigate traffic, or was it really just depending on where the 4 wide was, and then you just had to go where there was one of the cars?
I think I screwed that up. I screwed up passing cars earlier in the race. I was taking, I think, too conservative of a groove there. I mean, the fastest way around the track was definitely that outside line, about a lane off the wall or so, right around those dashes. But when there was a bunch of cars, when there was a bunch of lap traffic around me, I was just I was going through the middle of the track early in the run, and that was really hurting me on speed, just because I wasn't getting a good entry or a good exit. But I was if there was a bunch of cars there, I was definitely trying to dive it down low and try to get as good of a entry into the corner as I could, and hopefully clear the guy by exit. So it was definitely tough to navigate the lap cars.
This is a very unique all-star event. 8 different teams, 4 drivers per team, and all in every single different kind of race car. You win it when it is all said and done. It was a very chaotic race, nonetheless. You're able to get the job done. You win it for Team 1. You're our overall race winner. Again, Ryan, I'm going to give you this opportunity down here in Gatorade Victory Lane. No, unfamiliar ground for you on these short tracks on LSRTV. Sponsors and shout-outs, all of those good people who makes it happen for you, and as well on behalf of your entire team tonight.
Well, I just got to give a hats off to the whole Team 1 that I ran with tonight. We were all randomly matched up, so all the teams are presumably really even. It was just going to be a luck of how everyone's race turned out, since this race is so crazy and fun. It's a matter of survival and also being able to navigate through the traffic right. So we didn't win, but it was second's definitely solid for the amount of drivers and teams in it, so I'm proud of that. I also got to thank sponsors of mine, just Racer Boost, the Extreme Racing Series. I got to thank Jerky XP, Molecule Motorsports, and Lundgren Honda. They all support me either on iRacing or in go-kart racing or whatever I do, so thank you to them. Thank you to SARA for putting this on. They put on they put on a ton of fun races. They put on some broadcast races here on LSRTV sometimes, and the Clash for Cash is always really fun, so I was glad to be a part of that, and thank you guys for presenting the race awesomely on there. I'm sure this will be an interesting one to watch, since there's action all 45 minutes of it.
Tell you what, it was an interesting one to have to call nonetheless. So Mike Whited in the street stocks, Mark Gamick in the pro late models, James Linkowitz in the super lates, and you in the SK mods winning overall. You guys come home second in the team points. Ryan, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us. Best of luck in the future. I know we'll be seeing a lot of you coming up here later on in 2015.
Thank you. I look forward to being back on LSR TV in the Pro Series this fall, and maybe some other races in between, I'm sure.
He gets the job done on the short track, and keep a look for him on a big tracks later on in 2015. Well, I'll tell you what, we got a large group of people coming in. We've caught up with the winning team from tonight's SARA Clash for Cash All-Star Invitational, presented by Callaway Investments and the Posse. Team 2 takes home the championship on the team point side of things, with Matt Rolfe in the SKs, Wade Tashida in the Super Lates, the Pro Late models for Dave Riendo and Ian Lane in the Street Stocks, guys. First off, a big congratulations on the win. We've been making you guys wait quite a while, and I'm not sure there was much of a race car after that to have you guys celebrate with, but you guys do get the job done, and I'll turn to you first in all of this chaos, I guess, at the end of this one, Matt. Leading the majority of this race, you had to organize this event, you had to calculate the points, and then you're leading this race. It looked like it was going to be quite the preferred ending for you, and you ended up on your lid in the final 20 minutes. What happened?
I jinxed myself. I was talking to my, not these teammates that I won with here, but my normal teammates on a weekly basis. I was talking to them, and I put everybody a lap down, and I told them, I said, I'm probably jinxing myself, but I got a pretty good lead here, and then I got to the end of it, towards the end there, and it's tough with the SKs. You're gonna pass basically everybody down on the bottom, so I dove way down to the bottom line, and thinking I had two pro late models to my outside, so all night if I'd had those guys to my outside, I was able to clear them on exit, no problem. And I guess one of them was actually the super late model. Russell was out there and came off the corner, and he was still out there, and I just drove up into him, so that was my own fault. But it was pretty fun racing up there in the lead for a while. I was surprised actually it was doing that well, just based on the other guys that we had in the division too.
I'll tell you what, I tried to not jinx you because we said a couple of times tonight that last year we thought we knew how this was going to end, and then it all got crazy in the final 10 minutes. So I said I'm not going to say you have it on lock. So I don't know if that was a reverse jinx or what. The good news for you, though, is you're able to recover. You get 5th in the division, 6th overall. I'm sure you would have wanted to win, and you guys would have had a much more convincing point gap. You still won it by 2 points, though, over team number 1. Those SKs, though, were crazy. The super late models out-qualified you guys in the qualifying session. You actually started this race back in 8th position. To be able to get up there and race with them, we saw earlier on you were fighting with Krikorian there for the race lead, and it seemed like, I don't know if the super late model is just bigger or you just found smaller gaps or forced the issue, but it looked like you were really putting that car in some precarious situations, and it was really paying off early.
Yeah, we actually had a practice session last night, and I was surprised to see the super late models were a bit faster, but we changed the weather for tonight. It had different weather, it was cooler and less humidity and all that, so I think the grip really helped the super late models pick up some speed, so they qualified better than us in the SKs, but the SKs, their tire wear doesn't fall off a whole lot, so I think what happened was just a super late model tire started to fall off a little bit more. And I was being pretty aggressive there in the beginning. I kind of threw it in spots where I wasn't sure it was going to fit, and then the holes opened up and it worked out. Figured out if I really wanted to pass the super late models, heads up without traffic getting in the way, I had to pass them on the outside. Get to run in the corner because the SKs were so much better in the corner than the super late models were. So, forced my way through the field a little bit, and it worked out at the beginning, at least.
And you're able to still come home with a top 5 in class, 6th overall on a route to the Team 2 win. Andy, you've got a microphone, and you're with the driver that comes home 4th in the SLM class as well, representing with Team 2. You're with Wade Tashida.
That's right. I'm here with Wade. And Wade, we watched this race all night. It was just action everywhere. For you being in the super late model, you guys could run a little bit with these SKs, but getting around lap traffic, it seemed like that was the hard part. And at the same time, you're trying to, figure out who you're racing for in your own division. How hard was that for you tonight?
Well, I'll just start with this race was a blast. And thanks to my teammates and thanks to Matt and Sarah for putting it on. The super late, it's actually pretty friendly. I had done my setup to be stable rather than fast. I made some compromises on it, just knowing that we were going to be navigating traffic. And I was fortunate. Mine stuck pretty good down one groove off the wall. So, there was left space for the streets and the lates, but when those guys would get racing and they'd go 2 wide or sometimes even 3 wide, it definitely made it a challenge trying to hold that super down around the bottom.
Yeah, it did. It looked like some guys had, I know a lot of the slower guys, especially the street stock guys, that kind of stayed to the high side, kind of gave you guys the middle and the bottom lane to figure out how to get around them. We saw some of the SKs have to actually go to the top because the car actually ran better up there, so they were passing the guys on the outside. I mean, 3 wide, 4 wide, it was just chaos everywhere. But overall, I mean, I thought it was a pretty clean race. A couple little incidents here and there. A couple guys had some issues as far as getting some wrecks, having to get a tow without any cautions. I mean, what was the strategy for you going in here? Just try to keep it clean, mind your own business, and cross your figures.
Absolutely. My strategy going in was survive. That was all I could do. And I think fortunately I've got some experience running enduros, and real similar to what this felt like, where it's just nonstop. All you're doing is just picking a hole and getting through it the best you can.
Yeah, and it's almost one of them things where you can't even worry about what position you're in. You just got to worry about who's around you. Try to get around them. If guys are faster, let them go, and let it all shake out and see what happens at the end and where you actually end up placing. But anyone you want to thank for this fourth place in your division and 11th overall here in this all-star race tonight?
Yeah, I'll just throw one out for CQCmotorsports.com, and thanks again to Matt and Sarah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, Wade. Great run for him, great run for the team, and we'll continue on here. I think you've caught up with who you got now over there? You got Dave?
Yeah, we're down with the driver of the 70 now in our fray here on the front straightaway. Dave Uriendo comes home third in class in the late models and 18th overall on the racetrack. Davey, helping your team, getting 3 points in your division, helping that team obviously go on to get the overall championship. Good run for you. You finished, though, exactly where you started. I feel like it wasn't as cut and dry as it would have seemed. How was it working in the, the race, I guess, of those cars, which was kind of the mid-pack? We talked a little bit earlier to Bill Martin. The late models, kind of mid-speed, quicker than the street stocks, but not quite up there with the SKs and the SLMs. What was it like trying to moderate passing other guys and as well getting past and trying to keep it all on the racetrack at the same time?
Well, it's really just kind of watching in the mirror. You got to pick the right lane, pick your passes, and it's really all about patience. I mean, we did a great job just staying out of trouble for the most part. We got into a wreck with Brooks about 3/4 of the way in. I got into a little incident, was able to get down pit road, get a quick repair, get back out there real quick. I lost a spot. I was running second most of the night, but overall it was just staying clean, and we got the job done. It was a great team effort from Matt, Wade, Ian, and great job, guys.
I think I might have said that Team 2 was looking pretty good as we were trying to calculate who's running where and whatnot. The timing that we get up in the broadcast booth, a little bit off from the race, so we're trying to figure out what time it is. We're trying to keep track of all these standings, and then you're kind of doing the same thing, but as well you're driving the race and navigating 3-4-1. How much of that race was spent looking at guys around you like Bill, who comes in front of you, or as well Wendell, who come home in first and second in your respective class? How much of this race was worrying about the other guys in your division, worrying about where you were on track, as opposed to just getting to the end and hoping the cards fell in the right direction?
It was more of a battle with Wendell and Spearman in the beginning. Bill, I mean, he hooked up and he was gone. I knew it was going to take a lot to catch him, but I'd kind of settled in the second. Then tough luck for Spearman a few laps in. Same with Wendell, but I was checking the relative, making sure I had time on them, and also trying to concentrate on a pit stop, getting the right amount of fuel and tires. And
Well, you do so, and again, that third place for you in your respective class, one of the big contributing factors to this team number 2 being able to go on and win this race. Being back there in 18th position, kind of the hornet's nest for a lot of this. What was the easiest part about this race, and what was the hardest part about it?
Ooh, easy. That's a tough one. The hardest was just trying to stay out of the way of the faster guys. I mean, when you really got to pick your passes, and if you do it at the wrong time, then you get a car that's faster than you on the outside, you get a car that's faster than you on the inside. You're just stuck in a sandwich, and that's never a good place to be. So it's really just trying to get around the street stocks that we were faster with and just trying to stay out of the faster guys' way. Overall, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun.
I'll swap out the easy part with a different question. If Matt was jacked up on something and made this a regular series in a 12-week schedule, you'd race in it?
Oh, of course.
All right,
Definitely.
well, Matt, it's in your court now. The Clash for Cash, obviously a favorite for everybody. Davey, before we let you go, sponsors and shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for your good run tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my whole team, Explosive Motorsports. I ran with Joe Schaefer. Congratulations on wrapping up the Pro Late Model Championship. Wendell Stratton, Daryl Hamlin, Mark Gamick, Jared Boreos. They all did great this season. And I'd like to thank Matt for putting on the league, and then you guys at LSR for covering it. You guys do a great job. Thanks again.
Well, we thank you as well for sticking around and chat with us. Again, congratulations on the good run and as well on your team championship tonight for Team 2. Gonna pass things back down. Andy, you're with the driver who comes home highest in his respective division out of anybody on the championship team. Ian Lane said after this one, wait, I just won a SARA race. Comes home 24th overall, but he does win that street stock class. And just 1 point under the total tally was a big help tonight. You're with the driver of the 98 car.
That's right, I am. And Ian had a really good season this past season in the street stocks with 8 top 10s, finishing 5th in the series. No wins, but it's not often that you actually can say. It's not often that you can actually say, "Hey, look, I won a race, but I actually finished 24th overall."
Yeah, right. I started 100 and something SARA races and never gotten better than 4th. So the win was completely unexpected. Just a wild race, staying out of trouble. I guess I had the least mistakes of the street stock guys. Because I was 4th, 5th through the mid power of the race and wound up in the lead with 10 minutes to go. And the last 10 minutes were the really excruciating. Just like, oh man, I hope I don't get in a wreck. I hope I don't run out of gas. It was crazy.
Yeah, just trying to hang on to it and hopefully not get run over from behind. Just hold that top side. Just let the seconds tick away there. Being in the slowest class out there, you guys pretty much kind of rode that high line. Let those guys really could just give them the bottom, let them go. Obviously, you couldn't do anything against those other divisions. Racing like that or around those cars like that, knowing that any slight mistake by them even could cause a big wreck as far as yourself, take yourself out. But at the same time, you're trying to race the guys in your division and try to get the win, just like you did. So, how hard was that for you as a driver in the street stock, trying to negotiate through the traffic and let why these fast guys are all coming up on you that quick?
Yeah, I just held it up high most of the race. Didn't really have the opportunity to really pass anybody, obviously being the slowest car. Just kept up high, and it seemed like I was always behind the wreck when the street stock got involved. And there was a couple times I know Daryl and I forget who else was there, but he wrecked right in front of me. They got together, and I just slammed on the brakes and hoped I didn't, somebody didn't run me over from behind, being so many cars out there. And then coming to the white flag, I was involved in a wreck, and thankfully I had a big enough lead, and I just kept it going.
Yeah, you're able to roll the thing home, and no, this has got to be exciting. You come home, obviously your win helped your team the 2 points. If you didn't finish where you did, we wouldn't be talking to your whole team here, getting a win here tonight in the All-Star event. So, big win for you here in the street stock division, 24th overall. Who would you like to thank for this win?
First of all, I want to say thanks to Cody Leland. He helped me out tremendously this season. Pretty much the only teammate I had. Best of luck to him. He's leaving iRacing to go late model racing next year. I want to say shout out to people I've known for a long time online, Adam, David, and Drew for watching and supporting me in iRacing. And thanks to Matt and everybody in SARA for a great league, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting.
Well, we appreciate it. Congratulations again, Ian, on a great race here tonight. And Evan, it's just all around excitement. You talked about, would you do this again if they did it? And oh yeah, I could. Hey, you never know. This could be a one of those like inside championship race during the season if they ran, I don't know, 4 of these races and make these guys switch the cars though. Make them each race switch. So some of these faster guys in the SKs would actually have to run 1 week in the street stock or something. We'd see how things shake up then. That'd be quite interesting, I think, too.
Don't worry, Matt. We're just sitting over here and stirring the pot for you. Again, guys, though, Matt, Wade, Davey, Ian, congratulations on your win, guys. Best of luck for the rest of the year, and thanks for sticking around and chatting.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. No pressure or anything. Before you guys move me out of here, I just want to thank you guys again for coming on. You guys picked up our Triple Crown races, and that was awesome. It was a privilege to have you guys on those, and we added this on in the last couple weeks or so to have this race broadcasted again. You guys did this for us back in last fall, and it went pretty well, so we brought you guys back for it again. And obviously, as you guys saw, we increased the car counts, made it even more crazy. It's nuts out there trying to navigate through the traffic. It's a lot of fun, though. These guys had a lot of fun. Just a good way to wrap up the season for these guys. They've been running all season, so it's a good way to just let some steam off at the end of the season. But I just want to make sure I thank you guys, and I want to thank all the drivers as well for a good season.
Matt, I do want to thank you as well, helping us out, getting everything prepared, allowing us to be a part of it. We talked to you as the driver. I'll keep you around for a second. Talk to you as the organizer, I guess, view of this. You had a good run. It could have been better. But, to let some steam off at the end of the year, you guys still get the team win. That's, the overall goal for you guys. So, you, Wade, Davey, and Ian end up at the top of the pile. But as an organizer standpoint of this race, to hear how much the drivers love it, you got to feel like you have a good deal going here for the All-Star race. And I'm sure guys are already counting down to next year's.
Yeah, it was a crazy idea. I had a couple seasons ago. Figured I'd throw a bunch of cars out on the track together. I think the first time we did it, we only had 20 cars, and it was still crazy and a lot of fun. I think we did that race at Lucas Oil, a little bit less room than this track has. Everyone loved it, so we brought it a bit back again, and it works pretty well at Irwindale. You have a lot of passing grooves, to make passes and all that. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, it's a good way to just wrap up the season.
I'm not sure how much validity I'd give Andy's opinion, but he wants it on the figure eight next season. It was crazy nonetheless, though, and again, it's exciting stuff. And we talked about how these the four cars that you guys run, within the Sim Auto Racing Association, the RB Performance Super Late models, the Emerald Designs Pro Late models, the NAO Racing use SK Modifieds, and as well the Sportsman Street Stocks. Letting everybody know all night long they can go to simautoracinassociation.com or facebook.com/simautoracinassociation for more information. Can you give anybody a sneak peek of what's to come still in 2015 and then on to 2016?
Well, I do want to make a comment about the figure eight. I actually have thought about that before, so you never know.
There you go, Andy.
We might do 2 nights. We might do a Clash for Cash, and then we might do a Crash for Cash or something. We'll see.
Ooh, I like that.
But we're going to take at least a week or two off here before the next season. I know we're going to be running, later on this year into like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we got to figure out what we want to do for the next season as far as our regular season goes. But we do have you guys back on board for a fall brawl spectacular that we're going to be running not September. We got running that on October 26th through November 1st. We're going to have a full week of qualifying for each division between the SK, Street Stocks, late models, super late models, and we're adding super trucks. So we're going to do a whole week of qualifying for those. I think we have you on board for the super late model qualifying night, and then we'll be racing the big events for those that weekend. So that's our next big event coming up, and we got another season, just around the corner as well that we're preparing for. So got a lot of good stuff coming up.
And I'm sure we're just as excited as many of the drivers, and you are as well, Matt. Again, thanks for sticking around a little bit longer after this checkered flag for us and chatting. Again, congratulations on your good run. Congratulations on your team win, but as well, congratulations on being able to put on another successful event, one of the best as far as these all-star races go in the sim. Thanks for letting us be a part of it. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
And again, Matt Rolfe, the man behind the Sim Auto Racing Association. Andy, we're going a little bit over time, but it's all for fun and games tonight with the CLASH4CASH All-Star Invitational presented by Callaway Investments and the Posse. You didn't know what to expect, and I had, kind of an idea because I was able to do this last year, but they upped the car count, so I wasn't quite expecting it to be this crazy. We had a 2-lap to go pass for the overall race lead. The team championship was decided by just 2 positions. Before we put a bow on it and wrap it up, what was your first impression of your first taste of the Clash4CASH, knowing that maybe you may have just influenced some crazy idea for next season?
Yeah, I mean, I was just joking, but hey, you want to put it on a figure eight? I'll take that. No, honestly, you think short track racing, you think a lot of bumping, a lot of beating and banging and things like that. And then you talk about 4 different cars that all belong on a track like this. So, you put them all out there at the same time. And I was just like, I thought for sure, and I was kind of glad cautions were off, but I don't think even if they were on, it would have made it that big of a difference because it was for how many cars, 31 cars that were out there. the different divisions, the different speeds. I thought it was a fantastic race. It was clean. Yeah, there were some guys getting into each other, but it wasn't, it was just racing. You're
Nobody
wide.
went backwards, so that's a good.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
So I mean, I think overall, I think it was awesome. I think it was a great show. All the guys did great. Each division, the guys, they kind of, the street stock guys knew they were the slowest, and they did what they had to do. They stayed up on the outside and did their thing, raced amongst each other, kind of thing. And same with the late models and whatnot. But I thought overall it was awesome. And it's unfortunate. I got to wait till next year to see it.
And as Matt said, a lot of exciting stuff coming up with the Sim Auto Racing Association. That does it for tonight, but if you want information on what's coming up, but as well, some exciting stuff here on LSRTV in the latter stages of October to the beginning of November, you can go to simautoracingassociation.com for that. As well, stay up to date with everything on our end of things. Go to livesimracing.com. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. A lot of exciting series coming to you, not only on Monday nights, Friday nights, the weekends as well, but as well the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Not all that far around the corner, and LSRTV going to be the place to be for the third running year. Until next time, though, I do want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I want to thank all the drivers for putting on a show tonight at the virtual Irwindale Speedway. That does it. Until next time, another Clash for Cash is in the books. On behalf of the LSRTV broadcast crew tonight, alongside for myself, Evan Posoko, for Andy Kessler, and for our executive producer, Laura Lawson, thank you so much for tuning in. Congrats to Ryan Borges. He is your overall race winner. More importantly, though, congratulations to Matt Rolfe, Wade Tashida, David Riendo, and Ian Lane of Team 2. They're your Clash for Cash winners. We'll see a lot more racing to come in 2015.